Hello guys, I am back after a long break due to real life responsibilities. Of course I missed you all and I am back for good now, so a lot of content is on the way. Today we are going to take a look at technologies that are being neglected despite the fact that they are actually strong.
There are multiple reasons that they are not being researched enough, so let's check each one individually and find out why it is so. First tech is the Tigui from the Malians. That tech is available at castle age and enables town centers to shoot arrows when ungarrisoned, and costs 300 wood and 200 food. Now the reasoning behind the importance of this tech is mostly its availability at castle age. At castle age you are going to face raids, but raids at that point of the game cannot be performed using tanky units. Usually you will face some kind of light cavalry and foot archers maybe, which are very weak against arrow volleys. Even stronger units at castle age like knights struggle against arrows. Of course, someone would argue that when being raided, you can garrison villagers in the town center either way, in order to defend, but that would affect villagers' work time to some degree, depending on how much time these raids last. To sum up, the main pros of this tech is that it is very cheap to research and it is available at castle age, a stage of the game in which defensive arrows are still very important, and you save a lot of resources from not garrisoning your villagers every now and then. Now about the cons of this tech is that it is somehow useless at later stages of the game in Imperial Age and on, where stronger units are available that are much tankier against arrows. And also it is a tech that you need to have a castle first in order to research it. Next on the list is one that it is quite controversial, and I know many of you might disagree, but hear me out first. It is Nomads from Mongols. Nomads is a unique tech that once researched, destroyed houses do not lose population room. At the early stages of the game, Dark Age and Feudal, houses are used as defensive structures along with palisades and other buildings to protect your camp from rush attacks. Building houses as a defensive mechanism is beneficial for two reasons. One is that it protects you from raids obviously, and at the same time it raises your population limit. So far everything is common knowledge for most players. Now let's take a look at the Mongols as a civilization. Most units of the Mongols are attack oriented, like steppe lancers, hussars and the Mangudais. So why an aggressive civilization would need a tech which is useful while defending? Mongols most likely would be on the offensive and their houses would be hardly touched by their opponent. So, long story short, the answer is population limit. If you want to play aggressive, you need to moderate your pop limit. It is 100% certain that even if you rush attack with Mongols, there will be counterattacks and possibly raids from the enemy trying to distract you. It is obvious that many of these houses will be destroyed by these raids, and as the game progresses, more and more houses will be lost, so researching the nomads at some point at castle age will benefit you in the long run. No need for extra wood for rebuilding houses, and your pop limit will never be an issue again, especially at late Imperial Age. Next we have the unique tech from Bengalis, the Mahayana, enabling villagers and monks to take 10% less population space. Although it is an expensive tech, it can be handy during late game matches. It is a rule of thumb that in pro games both players would most likely have trained the same amount of villagers, but with the use of Mahayana you can gain some extra space for additional military units. During gameplay, the 10% benefit you get If you have, for example, 100 villagers, it grants you 10 more spots to train units. If you have 130 villagers, then you get 13 spots for free. It doesn't sound a lot, but imagine these free spots to be filled with battle elephant or other strong units. Especially in post-imperial games where pop limit is often reached, the 10% benefit can change the battle to your favor. Its only drawback is its cost, making hard to decide if it is worth spending 650 gold. Other than that, it is a nice bonus that people tend not to use. Guys, before we move on, please consider subscribing and leave a comment. It helps me a lot with the algorithm. It's only a small click from you, but it means a lot to me. Thank you, and now let's get back to the video. Next we have the Marauders from Huns. Marauders allow you to train Tarkans from the stables, something similar to Goth's Anarchy. This unique tech is special for two reasons. First, it can be researched as soon as you reach Castle Age, and second, it is quite cheap, costing 300 wood and 200 gold. So basically, after researching it, you can spam Tarkans, as long as you don't run out of gold, which is the only disadvantage here. Tarkans are tanky and extremely strong in taking down all kinds of buildings. Tarkans' hidden bonuses are 10 extra damage against castles, 8 extra damage for walls and gates and all kinds of buildings. Town centers melt, and with the right amount of Tarkans you can penetrate the enemy base without much effort. Since they have high pierce armor and many hit points while being on horse, it is hard to counter them. It is quite obvious. Using Marauders, you can train a small army of Tarkans fast and then focus on the enemy town centers. A nice coordinated rush attack with Tarkans and additional troops can win the game. It's definitely one of the most underrated tech. Last for today, we have one of the most neglected unique technologies. I am sure no one is even researching it nowadays. Although it had been used by Viper 1 or 2 times, if I recall correctly, in one of his streams. Anyway, I am talking about Ironclad and my beloved Teutons. Ironclad grants +4 melee armor for siege weapons. That means that not only they get tankier trebuchets, but also stronger rams and siege towers. And since Teutonic Knights are so powerful yet so slow, there is only one way to use them with great effect: using siege weapons as transports. I think that the developers added the Ironclad tech as a mean to make Teutonic Knights playable, because there is no viable use for them when using them on foot. But with tankier transports they can move around the map and be a constant threat to enemy bases. Basically they become the bodyguards of the rams. Also another useful aspect of this tech is that the trebuchets are affected too, making them more tanky, especially when they are being hunted down and need to pack and run away. The extra melee armor is good enough for trebs to escape danger. Ironclad costs 400 wood and 350 gold. It is not super cheap, but it is available at Castle Age. So if you are planning on training Teutonic Knights, then the Ironclad is available too, since you need to build a castle first.